I wish I'd done this years ago. Now, I hear this phrase from clients in their 50s and 60s nearly every day. But surprisingly, they're not just talking about how they make smart investment decisions or not. They're often talking about much simpler mistakes that quietly hold people back in life. And by the time you realize about these, you may also have drifted a long way off track and lost many valuable years. I've been helping successful families plan their ideal futures in retirement for over 20 years, and I've seen the frustration and disappointment and lost memories and experiences that these easily avoidable mistakes can cause firsthand. So, if you're in your 40s and doing well, this might be the most important financial wake-up call you hear this year. Because in this video today, I'm going to show you the 3 money mistakes that almost all high earners regret by 55, why these mistakes aren't what you'd typically expect, and exactly how you can fix them right now before regret kicks in. Mistake number 1 is what we call inertia. We once worked with a client who was a very successful strategic management consultant. He was incredibly diligent. He built detailed spreadsheets. He modeled every single different market scenario we could possibly think of, and he read all of the white papers. And he did this again and again. Here's the thing. He didn't actually invest his capital. When he did finally pull the trigger, the market had already gone through a huge growth cycle. Now, that delay cost him years of compounding returns further down the line. Whilst he was technically prepared, he was financially left behind. Many high earners fall into the trap of over-analyzing their financial choices. It's especially common amongst professionals who are used to making decisions based upon data and precision. Lawyers, engineers, consultants and accountants. This type of thinking is strongly associated with the money script known as vigilance. This is rooted in fear and avoidance. It goes, if I just do a little bit more research, I'll avoid making mistakes. But in reality, the big mistake is the compounded cost of inaction, procrastination, status quo bias, resistance. That cost can be absolutely astronomical in the years to come. It translates into lost life opportunity, unlived memories with your loved ones, and the very security and certainty that the vigilant mindset actually craves. Waiting for the perfect moment before taking action or the perfect plan can be just as risky as making a bad decision. Inertia is often disguised as being prudent, but it's still inertia, indecision, and inaction. In finance, time is one of your very most valuable assets. If you keep waiting, you'll miss the key window where your money could have been compounding and working for your future. Success isn't about making a flawless decision. It's about consistently making lots of good ones in a timely way. Maybe consider putting time limits on your decision making, setting deadlines, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, or whatever works for you. Make a decision based on sound, but not exhaustive analysis, and then act. Perfection isn't the goal. Decision, action, and momentum is. Before we move on, if you're in your 40s and want to avoid the most common regrets we see our clients make later on, we put together a free high net worth individual retirement checklist. It's the very same checklist that we use as high earning professionals to make sure nothing important ever gets missed. You can download it in the link in the description below. Mistake number 2 is actually making decisions too quickly. Now, at the very other end of the spectrum, some high earners move too fast. They make snap decisions without doing the necessary homework. This can often come from a sense of confidence or potentially overconfidence, especially in those used to making fast, high-stake calls in their professional life. It's a case of the classic Dunning-Kruger effect, where we can potentially overestimate our expertise in areas outside our own field. One client, we'll call him Mark, was a senior partner at an international law firm. I remember in early 2020, as the news channels spread fear and markets starting reacting to the pandemic fears, he quickly pulled a huge chunk of his portfolio and put it into cash. He thought he was being very smart in getting ahead of the impending crash. But the market rebounded faster than anyone expected, and by the time he'd reinvested, he'd completely missed out on the recovery. Now, that one impulsive move set him back many, many years when we look at his cash flow plan further down the line. Quick, emotionally charged decisions are often flawed. They're potentially tied to ego, to fear, to hype, to news channels. or short-term thinking. True wealth doesn't come from short-term reaction. It grows through a disciplined pursuit of a long-term strategy. So if this could be you, learn to pause. Recognize that your gut instinct is often more about the evolutionary impulse of survival than it is about good financial life strategy. Consider building a framework of exactly how you make your decisions. Think about a waiting period, a checklist, or even a second opinion. Only ever take a second opinion from a certified fiduciary. These are firms that have a legal duty to sit on the same side of the table as you and act in your best interest. They will have very detailed accreditation to prove this, and they rely upon academic evidence and peer-reviewed guidance to help inform better quality decisions. Create a space between any stimulus and your response. The real edge when it comes to good financial life management comes from patience, discipline, and always staying the course. Mistake number 3 is losing sight of your why. The majority of high earners spend a huge amount of time focused on the mechanics, the things such as investment returns, tax efficiency, or asset allocation, but they often lose sight of the bigger picture, the actual reason why they're building wealth in the first place. I spoke to an investor who was financially literate and ran his own business, but when we asked him, what is all of this for, he paused. He'd never really thought about it. He was just on autopilot in the grind of life. And once we dug into it, it turned out what he really wanted was more time making memories with his family and to eventually be independent and continue earning, mentoring younger entrepreneurs. But his financial life strategy wasn't set up for that at all. People often mistake the process of growing wealth and investment for the purpose. They can become obsessed with performance, quarterly reviews, tax strategy, and just beating the market, whatever is hot now. And they forget that money is simply a means to an end. No one wakes up driven by a real internal desire to outperform the FTSE 100. Instead, they likely want freedom. They want security. They want important life memories. They want to make impact, potentially have a legacy, or they want peace of mind. So potentially take time at least once a year to step back from it all and ask, why exactly am I building all of this wealth? Is it to afford a better life for my kids, to educate them well, ensure they're healthy? Or is it for more time to make memories with them? Whatever it is, write it down, revisit it often, and make sure that your financial life strategy isn't just mechanically efficient, but is actually aligned with your values and the life that you want to live. Bonus mistake is not enjoying your life today. Now, many of our clients are caught in the grind of life. They have many different pressures, often working 50, 60, 70 hours a week, often for years on end, with the belief that once they hit a certain number or milestone in life, then they'll potentially have room to enjoy it more. But for those on the hedonic treadmill, that moment never quite arrives. The goalposts keep on shifting. There's always something else to chase or to worry about. We've had clients in their 50s or 60s look back with real sadness. Not because they didn't earn enough or they didn't save enough or invest well enough, but because they missed really important life moments that they just simply can't get back. One client deeply regretted not taking more holidays with his kids when they were young. Another never got to enjoy retirement that he planned because he became unwell just a couple of months after stepping back. The cost of regret can be far greater than any potential financial shortfall. Good financial life management isn't just about protecting your future, it's also about enriching and living the present. There is a good place for sacrifice and for discipline, but if you're constantly pushing happiness into the future, you're gambling that that future will unfold exactly as planned. And life doesn't always work like that. Potentially think about creating space for that joy and contentment now. Whether there's a family trip, time off, or investing in something that matters to you. Literally carve it out and put it into your life strategy. Wealth is measured in much more than numbers. It's also measured in memories. At this stage of your life and your career, the stakes are different. You've built a strong income, perhaps a successful business or a career, and made more financial progress than most. But with that success comes complexity and the risk of losing sight of what really matters. These types of mistakes I've spoken about today, inertia or procrastination, rushing decisions, letting your emotions cloud those decisions, forgetting your why, and postponing joy, these aren't about numbers. They're all about your behavior and your mindset and how you manage your time, how you value your energy, and how you define your values and your purpose. Financial life success isn't just about accumulation, it's also about alignment. Living life with less anxiety and greater certainty, making sure that you're living richly where your money serves your life and not the other way around. So as you look ahead to the next chapter of your life, ask yourself, am I building the kind of future that I actually want? Am I living enough of that future now? Because ultimately, money is just the fuel for your life journey. And life's not a rehearsal. Every day, precious time is ticking away. As hard as it can be with kids, with career, and with lots of responsibility, you really need to enjoy this journey now just as much as you need to intentionally decide upon your future destination. So those are the mistakes to watch out for, but avoiding those mistakes is only the half of the story. If you want to grow and protect your wealth properly, especially as a higher earner, you also need a clear set of rules to follow. So watch this video next where I talk you through the 10 rules of investing for successful families.